morning sun was still rising on Christmas Eve when Marcus Hale stepped out of the glass tower with a cardboard box in his arms, snowflakes melting on his sleeves as if the day itself was crying with him. Inside the box were 15 years of loyalty, a cracked family photo and a pair of gloves he had planned to give his son that night. He had been fired for stealing, branded a liar and a criminal without mercy, and now the city rushed past him as if he no longer existed. In that moment, with daylight barely touching the streets and Christmas lights still glowing faintly from the night before, Marcus understood how quickly a good life could be erased. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that remind us of our humanity, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Kindora Life. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them. Marcus was a single father, raising his 8-year-old son Rowan after illness had taken Rowan's mother years earlier. Every day began before sunrise, packing lunches, tying shoelaces, and whispering quiet promises that things would be okay. Marcus worked as a warehouse logistics supervisor for a powerful retail company, a job he took not for ambition, but for stability. He was known for his honesty, for staying late without complaint, for never taking what was not his. On that Christmas Eve morning, he had taken a damaged winter coat from the returns pile after filing the required paperwork, planning to fix it for Rowan because his son's old coat had grown thin and useless against the cold. But an internal audit flagged the item before approval cleared, and the CEO himself, Victor Langston, happened to be touring the facility that day. The accusation came fast and public. Security escorted Marcus out while co-workers looked away in shame and fear. There was no hearing, no chance to explain, no compassion for timing or intent. The word stealing followed Marcus like a stain that daylight could not wash away. By noon, his company email was shut down. By evening, he was sitting at a small kitchen table, watching Rowan open a modest Christmas gift, forcing a smile while dread tightened his chest. That night, Marcus did not sleep. He stared at the ceiling as daylight slowly returned, wondering how to tell his son that the world was not always fair, even to good people. The months that followed were brutal. Jobs turned him away after background checks and whispered rumors. Savings vanished into rent and groceries. Marcus sold his car and walked Rowan to school every morning under the bright, unforgiving sun. Pride gave way to survival. There were days when Marcus skipped meals so his son could eat, days when hope felt heavier than despair. Yet even then, Marcus refused to let bitterness raise his child. He volunteered at Rowan's school during daytime events, helped neighbors fix broken steps, and taught his son that character mattered more than reputation. Slowly, painfully, life reshaped itself. Years passed, marked not by miracles, but by endurance. Marcus found work repairing appliances during the day, then managing a small community repair shop that helped low-income families. Rowan grew taller, stronger, kinder. The shop became a gathering place filled with light, where broken things were given new purpose. Marcus never spoke of the company that fired him, but the memory lived quietly inside him, like a scar that no longer bled but never faded. 12 years after that Christmas Eve, Marcus had become something unexpected, a respected community leader whose integrity spoke louder than any accusation ever had. On a clear winter afternoon, with sunlight pouring through the shop windows, a sleek black car stopped outside. A man stepped out slowly, older now, shoulders heavier with time. Victor Langston no longer looked untouchable. The empire he once ruled was collapsing under lawsuits, public scandals, and the exposure of ruthless practices that daylight had finally revealed. Desperate to rebuild his image, Victor had been advised to seek out people he had wronged, to ask for help he never thought he would need. When Victor entered the shop, he saw walls lined with thank you notes, shelves repaired with care, and Marcus standing calmly behind the counter. Recognition hit Victor like a blow. The man he had discarded without a second thought had built something real, something humane, in the open light of day. Victor explained his downfall, his regrets, his need for support from someone the public could trust. He admitted his mistake, not as a strategy, but as surrender. The powerful CEO who once destroyed a life was now asking that same man for help, his voice trembling with humility he had never known. Marcus listened without anger. He thought of the Christmas Eve snow, the cardboard box, the years of quiet struggle under the sun. He thought of Rowan, now a young man studying social work, shaped not by resentment, but by resilience. Marcus did not offer revenge, nor did he offer blind forgiveness. Instead, he offered truth. He agreed to help Victor, but only if the company committed publicly to fair labor practices, transparent investigations, and real accountability. Redemption, Marcus believed, required daylight, not shadows. The story of Marcus Hale spread quickly. People saw what real integrity looked like when tested by time. Victor kept his promises, not because it saved his company, but because he had finally learned the cost of cruelty. Marcus never regained what he lost, but he gained something greater, a life rooted in purpose, a son proud of the man who raised him, and a legacy built on compassion. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can survive even the harshest injustices, please take a moment now to like, share, and engage with this video. Your support keeps these stories alive. A special request. Please comment below what this story made you feel and whether you believe true redemption is possible. As daylight faded into a soft winter evening, Marcus locked up the shop and walked home. The same steady steps he had taken for years. The world had not apologized for what it did to him, but it had listened, and sometimes that was enough.